Ladies and gentlemen, this is all very exciting. This is our first look at the new Asian map on Farming Simulator 25, Hutan Pantai. At the Tokyo Game Show, it is now the 26th. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. This should be posting. Giants have released a blog post and at the Tokyo Game Show the gameplay trailer for the new map. There are some screenshots and images as well that Giants have released, and it does say, we've already taken a tour of Riverbend Springs, but with rice, Asian-style farm machinery and water buffalo already announced and introduced, we've probably been waiting for the next farming destination to build your agricultural empire. Well then, Hutan Pantai, showcasing Farming Simulator 25 at the Tokyo Game Show, Japan's renowned video game show. We're going to have a look at the first glimpse at the second major farming environment in the game. It's time to check out the trailer. I'm going to let the trailer play. I have removed the sound. I've had to because of copyright, so I've put something over the top. I'll let it play through. I might play it through a second time, and then we'll talk about it while we're looking at it, and there's some screenshots to have a look as well. So I'll just let you enjoy the gameplay trailer. I have put the link to the blog post, which will also have a link to the original. So if you want to have a look at the blog post and the original gameplay trailer with their sound on it, you can. That should be linked in the description. Let's have a look. It looks fantastic, and there's a lot going on in this trailer. What I'm liking is the architecture, the lanterns on the buildings, the design of the buildings. I mean, look at it. The pagoda-style temples. The neon light. I mean, it's got everything. Raised railway. I think there might even be a raised roadway. I think we might see a little bit of that as well. The little tuk-tuk auto rickshaws. Very much like the Italian Piaggio Arpe, I think. I like that as well, the fact we get to see the water coming out of the pipes. I haven't really seen that too much. And the fact the Arpe can carry the rice saplings as well, I think is brilliant. There is going to be forestry. That we can see. That lighting on that lighthouse. And the rain as well. I mean, it looks incredible. It really does. We're getting a bit of everything. It's throwing all of it in. But look at that. Those buildings it just looks absolutely perfect. I mean, I haven't played on it yet, but they look like cherry blossom trees in the background as well. They've nailed it. Goats. We knew they were coming, but there's goats in there as well. Ramen. I've got a screenshot. We're going to have a look at that. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to take in. Let's have a look at some of the screenshots. So, just to be clear, the blog post does say, until we're ready for a full-blown tour through Hutan Pantai in our upcoming map preview, enjoy a selection of first impressions below. Along, in this case. There's more to show and tell, but there are still some buildings to be polished with a fresh coat of paint, roads to be swept, and cherry blossom trees to be planted. Now, I did a little bit of looking up. As far as I can tell, in Malay, the name Hutan Pantai means coastal forests in Malay. So I don't know if that's where it's been taken on. I know Giant said when we were at FarmCon, when we were talking to Florian Busen, he was saying that they take inspiration from a wide area and they make a map that combines a bit of everything. It's got a bit of a Japanese feel, Malay feel, a bit of everything kind of thrown in, which I absolutely love it. So this first image, I mean, obviously you've got the neon lights, lorry in the foreground, and that's what I like. Those, I've always referred to those as mini lorries. You get them in the UK sometimes, very big in Japan and areas like that. So it's like a, I know it sounds ridiculous, it's like a normal sized lorry with all the features, and they do various versions, just shrunk down because there's less space. You know, on the main islands of Japan there's not a lot of room, so all these things do get sort of shrunk down. And you can see the little, I'm going to refer to it as an auto rickshaw, but tuk-tuk, like I said, it has got that Piaggio look to it. But I mean, have they nailed it or what? I'm going to refer back to actually an image that I said I was going to put in, and that was in part of the video, and it was about ramen. And the ramen image on the picture shows, and now this could incorporate some of the stuff we've been talking about, I don't know, this is just me extrapolating, because we've got those new greenhouse products as well. We said we've got chilies, shiitake mushrooms, what was the other one? There was another one. And that image looks like it's got egg, it's got noodles, so whether there's an option to make noodles, it looks like spinach in there as well, and possibly sliced up bits of chili. So I mean, I don't know, I just saw that image, and the fact it was in the shot very clearly, potentially there'll be the ability to make ramen, who knows. So the next image then being that of the harbour area, very common in Japan, surrounding islands, that kind of thing, to reclaim land, and you can see all the concrete shapes. They're like almost like the old Czech hedgehogs with the lighthouse on the end. That's the lighthouse that we saw in the video when it was pouring with rain with the light going around. A big old container ship there. Well, no, it's not. Is that a container? I suppose technically a container ship. Once those closed down, go into containers on. Star Muesli Fellowship on there with the town in the background. But also what you get to see as well is the mountainous land as you go inland. So I'm assuming you're going to have coastal areas that are a bit flatter, possibly valley areas in between, until we see a proper view of the actual island. I mean, again, assuming it's an island, not a mainland, you know. But those mountainous areas where I assume we're going to get a bit of forestry, it's got a Silver Runny-esque kind of look to it. But I love it. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. So, on from there, and this is another, I mean, I'm just blown away. They've nailed the style. They've got it right. And that, like I say, we're up and you can see the tight roads, very steep. I like the paving on it as well. Got the small lorry on this one as well. I think on the video that we just saw had one of the small tuk-tuks going through. But the styles of the buildings as well. You've got the older style with the sweeping curved roofs, and then the sort of newer style in the foreground just behind the lorry as well. Surrounded by trees, but then going down onto the flat land or flatter land for your farming, like I say, out in a valley. Top left of that image, you can see, now it looks like that might be the railroad. On the video clip, towards the end, there was a shot that looked like it was wider, looked like it was possibly a raised roadway. Always reminds me of that video years and years ago from the Kobe earthquake, where you see the raised roadway crumble and come down. That type of roadway raised always reminds me of that. Stunning images. I'm trying to sort of pick out anything else that stands out. There's nothing showing as a production or anything like that in there. So move on from that. Oh, wow. A temple area by the looks of things. I don't know if there's going to be collectibles. Fantastic looking sunset. And just on the right hand edge of the image, you can see one of those lanterns hanging off of the corner of the roof. Foreground, you've got the stepping stone, very zen quality to it with the lily pads and stuff on there. But I was looking as well at the reflection on the water. What I like is you've got the reflection of the pagoda on the left hand side in the water, but also you can see through to the bottom of that area as well. Again, just stunning. I don't know if that'll be a sell point, whether there'll be a production there, whether, you know, we just don't know yet, but wow. And then this. Now this zooms us in from the harbour area we were looking at earlier. So along the road that leads out to the harbour and the lighthouse is where that little tuk-tuk is sitting now. Again, another one of those lorries in the foreground. And then we open out more into the town. What looks to me, again, it's trying to work out really from the images, the different angles. You can see the mountains in the background again. But just sort of left, well, central and left of central, right in the background, between the mountains and where we're looking, you've got what looks to be like the main buildings that we saw on the first image that's got all the neon lights and stuff like that, the main town area. Again, I'm just taking it all in. There's so much on all the images, so much information. Next up, now this is an interesting one. Again, right, so raised railway in the background. And you've got that juxtaposition, you've got that old and new. You've got the old style looking buildings, which might even be new, but they've got that old style. With that modern, so what would be cool is, I think, judging by the video clip, you saw the train that runs along, which I assume we'll be able to use, rent train, that kind of thing. What would be phenomenal would be for a bullet train. How cool would that be, going across the back of there? But in the foreground, an old Massey. Got an old Massey 8570 there, which I don't know, did we know that was in-game? I don't think we knew necessarily that was going to be in-game. Nice looking old Massey in the foreground. Again, cracking images. On from there. And this again, foreground, background, there's all sorts going on. So we've got our rice harvester going, the lorry in the background, or just behind it, say in the background, it's unloading into. And then you've got between there and the buildings in the background, again, I watched a film, a documentary recently about buildings in Japan and China and countries like that, and they make these prefab buildings and they're in sections and you can buy them in block units. So you buy a bathroom, you buy a kitchen, you buy the main room, and it all comes pre-plumbed, all ready to go on the back of a lorry. They crane it all into place and it's basically like Lego, it just all clicks together. So those buildings you can see just behind have got that kind of old style to them, but they look more modern in that style. But then what you've also got behind that is you've got those modern structures, slab-sided buildings, office space, that kind of thing. So you've got farm homes, and then, you know, the office world, the more modern world behind it. I'm coming back to this image to finish off. That is all the images. That's the video from the Tokyo Game Show. This is a very calming, serene image. I like this very much. I think Giants have done a cracking job. And it's going to depend on your personal preference for maps. You may be drawn to and gravitate more towards an American style map with Riverbend Springs. This may be more your cup of tea. Or again, because this is so different to what we've had in game before. I'm gravitating towards this already because it's so different to what we've had in game. And I love it. And saying about the game, we are getting closer and closer. November the 12th, full release. And you can still pre-order, of course you can. And if you pre-order, you get the pre-order bonus of the MacDon pack. We've said this many, many times on many, many videos. There's also the collector's edition if you want to go down that route and maybe get yourself a collector's edition with some extra bump and stuff in there, some stickers. There's a keychain in there. There's a USB ignition key in there. There's a copy of the game or for PC, that kind of stuff. And then there's also the Year 1 Season Pass if you get the Year 1 bundle with the game and that as well. But there's the Year 1 Season Pass with 3 first DLCs. Then the fourth being the first new expansion, which will be a year on from when the game releases. If you want to use the partner code, MrSealyp, all caps, if you get the option to do that, depending on what option you go for. There are links in the description for digital download and retail forwarding. If it gives you the option to put in a partner code, that would be fantastic. It would help me massively. It would help the channel, and I would appreciate it hugely. I hope you found this interesting and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, I'm off back to bed. And thanks for watching.